Hey guys, it's Will from Potato Strong here. I just want to talk about the idea of unlimited calories. Some people are promoting unlimited calories, and I understand why they're doing it. They don't want people to restrict their calories or eat small portions or be hungry, and a lot of people have screwed up their metabolism by yo-yo dieting and starving themselves. And the idea that you can eat unlimited amounts of carbs, it's a nice idea, and you should be able to eat until you're satiated. But I don't like the idea of saying unlimited carbs because it's not really true. I've chatted with some registered dietitians and looked into the issue, and your metabolism is dynamic. So if you change what you eat, starve yourself, your metabolism is going to change, and so it's not a static situation. And there are actual metabolic pathways where glucose and fructose can be converted to fat. It's not as easy as, just fat, which gets stored almost 100% directly in your body. But it's still a possibility. There were some short-term studies that showed that if you eat excess carbs for a few days, you'll burn off the excess as heat. But if you do this on an ongoing basis, your body will adjust your metabolism and it'll get better at storing more fat. I mean, our fat stores are meant for excess energy for periods of famine. So there's no need to smash in 3,000, 5,000 calories a day if you're pretty sedentary, especially females. I get some emails from people who have gained weight eating a lot of fruit, and whenever I talk to them, the majority of the time it's because they're eating these huge smoothies and exceeding their caloric requirements. Some people are saying that, if you've damaged your metabolism, it could take months or years for your metabolism to heal. Now, there's definitely some science around the fact that your metabolism will adjust, but I just don't think that people want to go through that experience of gaining weight for 6 months or a year. And so what I'm suggesting is that you try an alternative approach, which is eating foods whole and eating lower calorie density foods. So you got fruit, vegetables, legumes, and grains. And there's a range of caloric densities, which is the calories per pound of foods. So to summarize, if you're having trouble losing weight or you're stuck at a certain weight, I've got some pointers. I just suggest you try something else. And what I find works for me is I eat a meal that is filling, and usually that involves a starch of some kind, so that's potatoes. Rice doesn't work as well, but when I put rice and beans together, I make sure I get enough of them. That works great, with a couple corn tortillas. And then in the morning for breakfast, I have rolled oats with my banana milk and some strawberries on top. And so 3 main meals, and they keep me full for hours. So if you're eating only fruit and maybe you're finding that you're eating a lot and you don't really feel satiated, I find that 3 meals that are filling, and they're still fairly lower in calorie because there's no fat or anything, starch based, helps me quite a bit. And eating the foods whole as much as possible, and avoiding some of the dense calorie foods. Even with high carb, there's a range, and the higher end should be, obviously nuts and things like that, avocados. You should be careful with flour, to a lesser extent, anything processed. So if what you're doing is working for you and you're eating tons of fruit and you're losing weight, then that's great. Or you're maintaining and you're healthy, that's great. But I'm getting a lot of emails from people who, for various reasons, are gaining weight. They might have metabolism issues, but I think in a lot of cases they're just exceeding their caloric intake. So, I'm pretty sedentary. I'm at home 24/7, except I drive to the grocery store, and I do a little bit of calisthenics, some chin-ups and push-ups, and a few other things a few times a week. So pretty minimal exercise, and you just don't need excessive calories for that level of activity. And well, most of us are busy with work and school and don't really exercise that much. And some of the exercise, if you do, it might be couple hundred calories, for an hour or half an hour. It's not really going to make much of a difference. So just some pointers as far as some things that I think you could try to do. Just the unlimited calorie thing, I don't think is a good message, or unlimited carbs. I think what I say is eat whole foods, only plants, until you're satiated. So, there's no reason to go crazy eating tons of extra calories for no reason. If you're exercising and you need more calories, then that's great. But you have to think about your results. If you're trying to lose fat, is it working? For tracking fat, you can use a body fat monitor, calipers, things like that, because sometimes your weight goes up and down with water gains. Carbs in your body, glycogen stores water as well, so people will sometimes blame sodium or something like that, but a lot of times with carbs you have water stored as well, and just general cycles, water goes up and down in your body. So I find a body fat monitor is great, as well as the scale, because my scale weight's gone up and down, but the body fat percentage is declined fairly straight, linearly, so consistently, and that can help you some of the guessing, of what's going on, especially if you're doing a little bit of weights and you're not sure, if you're gaining muscle or what's actually happening. So hope that helps. I'll talk to you guys later.